Welcome to the Line Life podcast. I'm Jeff Postlethwaite of T&D World, and today we're bringing you more stories of the grit, courage, and inspirational teamwork that it takes to be a line worker.
Thank you for tuning in to the T&D World Line Life podcast, produced by Endeavor Business Media, a division of Endeavor B2B. My name is Amy Fishbach, and I'm the head of content for T&D World and also the host of the Line Life podcast. Before I dive into today's episode, I invite you to become part of our Line Life podcast community by searching for the Line Life podcast in your favorite podcasting app or going to linelife.podbean.com and clicking follow in the top right. We air interview-style episodes on the first and third Fridays of each month, and also audio stories in our In Case You Missed It series featuring articles that appeared in our print magazine on the second and fourth Fridays of each month. If you have a comment on this episode or a suggestion for a future guest, please reach out to me. You can email me at afishbach@endeavorb2b.com or reach out to me on LinkedIn or Instagram at Lineman World. I'd love to hear from you. Now let's move on to today's episode. Welcome back to the T&D World Line Life podcast. Before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to invite all of you to follow and subscribe to the Line Life podcast at linelife.podbean.com or in your favorite podcasting app to hear interviews and audio stories that celebrate the people behind the power. Also, make sure you stay tuned to our website at tdworld.com, where we'll soon have the articles available from our September 2026 Line Worker Supplement. This year, we focused on line workers around the world, line wives, training in the trade, and storm strategies. We'll have the supplement available in our T&D World booth at the International Lineman's Expo this October, and we'll also be including the supplements in bags that are distributed to the attendees. In addition, I'll be narrating these 4 articles as part of our In Case You Missed It series for the Line Life podcast. If you're interested in being a guest on the Line Life podcast, or if you'd like to work with us on a story for T&D World magazine, please reach out to me on LinkedIn, Instagram, or at afishbach@endeavorb2b.com. And if you're planning on being in Kansas City this October for the International Lineman's Rodeo Week, please stop by our T&D World booth, where we'll be doing interviews for future episodes and also giving away t-shirts as well as temporary tattoos for line families. We look forward to welcoming you and your loved ones to Kansas City. Now let's move on to today's episode. I interviewed James Respeto from Avangrid at last year's Lineman's Expo, and then I saw him later at the trade night where he had special drawings that he made of a super lineman along with his trusty sidekick, a super dog. Now I'm excited to finally be able to showcase this interview that I had with James for the Line Life podcast. James, it's wonderful to have you with us today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate being here.
First of all, I know you wear a lot of hats. Can you talk about some of your roles at Avangrid?
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, I am a lineman. I went to line school back in 1991. About 17 years ago, I was given the opportunity to become an overhead line supervisor, and it's been a great experience ever since. Since that time, I've been asked to run our line school training program. When we have any new line schools, I'm a mentor. Any line apprentices that go through our program, they're stuck with me pretty much for the next 4 years of their apprenticeship program. I also am the chairperson for the overhead line and URD skilled safety panel representing New York State Electric and Gas, Central Maine Power, Rochester Gas and Electric, and United Illuminating. And most recently, I was asked to be an ethical liaison to help assist with any departmental issues, help along with any questions, and I can lead, guide, and direct as I've been doing my entire career here so far.
Perfect. And James, how did you get interested in a career in the line trade?
By mere chance, back in 1988, I was a meter reader for our company, and I heard scuttlebutts and stories of being a lineman and working out in the field, storms, and just getting the lights on when the lights are out. I was like, I want to be part of that, helping people when they're in need. And I've traveled all over the world helping on mutual aid. Most recently was in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, helping with their recent storm. But it's something that I never thought I'd be doing. But 37 years later, I love it. I couldn't imagine doing anything else.
And now let's talk about some of your most memorable storms, because it sounds like you've worked on a lot of them all over the world.
Yeah, my most memorable would probably have been my trip to Canada. They had a big storm that come through, and they asked us during COVID if we were interested in going to help Nova Scotia get the lights back on. And without hesitation, myself and about 20 other individuals just decided to say yes. And with our COVID cards in hand, and because we weren't not allowed across the border without proof of vaccination. We were in Canada for 2 weeks, Nova Scotia in particular, and met some great people, and definitely the most memorable one.
So what kind of destruction was caused by that storm?
You had miles and miles of trees taking poles down, wires down, just total devastation of their grid. We were there representing Avangrid, but there were so many other utility companies there helping to get the lights back on.
And James, now can you talk about some of your best practices when you're working on mutual response? Because I'm sure it's different working on all these different systems.
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, you want to get the voltages down. You need to know what voltages you're working on. Safety, first and foremost as well. Great tailboards. You have to talk about the job before, during, and after. That never stops. And just making sure everybody stays focused, working 17-hour days. Guys usually, they get foggy after a little while. You got to make sure they're well fed.
Yes.
They're well hydrated, and just constantly have those conversations if they need anything, have anything on their minds, and keeping everybody pretty much focused on the task at hand.
And then what's it like working 17-hour days? I'm sure you've worked plenty of those. How are you able to stay focused and stay energized when you're working that long?
Well, 17-hour days, they're long days. Unfortunately, it's what we do and what has to be done. We usually start off with a good meal, knowing that this may be the last hot meal they're going to get for that day. Everything else is brought out in paper bags, and the foreman are usually left to go scavenge for potato chips, protein bars, peanut butter, anything to keep the engines going on these men. And like I said before, hydration is key, not just water. You need to replenish those electrolytes as these guys are sweating it out, making sure that nobody, goes down due to heat stroke or heat exhaustion.
Yes, absolutely. And then, James, what's it like working in the cold when you're doing line work?
Oh, well, thankfully, our company provides us with amazing workwear. So all our linemen are equipped with the latest and greatest winter FR wear, hats, gloves, whatever we need to layer up. They should have them on their rigs. And no, we are definitely ahead of the game when it comes to FR clothing.
That's wonderful. And now let's talk about where you sleep. What's the craziest place you've ever had to sleep during a storm duty?
I would say the craziest, the saddest place I had to sleep was in a storm about 20 years ago in Florida. They got about 4 or 5 hurricanes that came through that year. I can't remember the name of those hurricanes, but it was a back-to-back hurricanes in Florida. And we went down there, and for the first week, we actually had to stay in the high school gymnasium with all the locals. And very sad to witness, people crying and kids, and can't help but think back on your family.
Now let's talk about safety in the line trade. What does safety mean to you as a lineman?
Safety is first and foremost, especially being in the position that I am, making sure that great tailboards are done. Like I said, first thing in the morning. And if anybody has any question on that crew, whether they're a 1-year apprentice or a 40-year seasoned lineman, everybody's opinion matters. If you have to stop the work, you will not be shunned for it. Everybody is in charge of keeping everyone safe around them. So safety is key. Constantly talking, constantly reviewing the pole behind you, the pole ahead of you, and just respecting everybody's opinion. And that is key in Avangrid.
And you're also a leader. What is it like being a leader in the line trade?
Well, you have to talk to everyone. You have to know your audience, and you have to be open-minded. Everybody's opinion matters, And, I have an open door policy as well as my cell phone. Linemen and apprentices know they can call me any time of the day, weekend, holidays, and I will answer that call. If I don't know the answer, I will get back to them as soon as I can find that answer. I have a very close relationship with our safety department as well as with linemen throughout the country. So I will get the answer that they need in regards to any safety-related questions.
And now, James, can you talk about what a day in the life is like for you out on the job?
Well, day in the life, I come in the morning, 6 a.m., making sure that everybody has what they need, figure out what went on the night before, which is a normal thing at UI. There's constant pole hits or any inclement weather-related issues. So guys are on fatigue, rest time. So you have to make sure that those scheduled jobs for the next morning are a go, and you will not forget about any scheduled appointments, making sure that the linemen have the tools and equipment that they need any given day. They can get something that may have broken down the night before or the week before. I have access to our logistics stockroom area and making sure that they do get what they need. And just a constant conversation that just never ends. So from morning 6 a.m., I'm usually out of there around 5 p.m. and just checking in with everybody before I leave. I check in with all my supervisors. And usually at that time of the day, I'm filling in my senior director with what went on that day because she's on top of everything that goes on at United Illuminating.
And then how did you get into this trade? Did you start off at Avangrid or did you start somewhere else before you joined them?
No, I actually started with United Illuminating. Back then, it was just United Illuminating as a meter reader right out of high school. Graduated. 2 weeks later, I'm reading meters for United Illuminating. And I had an opportunity 2 years later to enter our line school program. And like I said, it's been an amazing journey. And I'm glad I've had the opportunity to do it.
How do you feel about all the young students and apprentices out here learning the trade?
Well, you know what? That there too is a challenge. I have a 31-year-old, I have a 38-year-old, and I have an 8-year-old and a 16-year-old. Change is nothing new for me, and adapting with new personalities, especially the younger personalities in today's world. Not everybody is eager to learn this trade, and they find out real quick if it's for them. They may have had the great opportunity to attend our line school and pass our line school, but the majority of them figure out really fast if that's the journey that they wish to continue on. If not, there's other opportunities at my company that they usually segue into, whether it be the underground department, a substation, or operations.
So what would be your advice to those just starting the trade?
Keep an open mind. First and foremost, respect your elders. Gravitate to the great teachers in the department, because as in any other trade, you have your great teachers and you have your mediocre teachers. As a lead supervisor, I try to pair my apprentices up with the best of the best in the department, but you're not always going to have that opportunity, especially when there's storms come in. So you have to make sure that you keep them in line, almost like being a dad. You're constantly molding. I'm also most recently was named the company ethical liaison, so I wear that hat as well. And I let them know that if there's any issues out in the field that they're uncomfortable with, that they can come to me and talk to me about it, and I will get right down to the bottom of it immediately.
So talk about your role as an ethical liaison. What does that look like for you?
Pretty much, I can assist with any behavior issues in the department. If somebody feels something is not right and they don't want to call the 1-800 hotline number, they can come to see me and talk about it. And a lot of times it's minor, and I can squash it right there and then. Sometimes I do have to escalate it up to our compliance department. But thankfully, that has not had to happen. I've always, till today, been able to take care of all those minor issues.
Wonderful. And what are some of your plans for the future? Do you see yourself staying in this role, or do you have your eyes on something else?
Well, actually, I'm 56 years old, and I couldn't imagine doing anything else. I enjoy the position that I'm in because I'm out in the field daily, meeting with the customers, meeting with my linemen, and it's something I really enjoy doing. I miss not getting in that bucket truck anymore.
I'm sure.
Dearly. I mean, it's just something that once you're a lineman, you're always a lineman. Every year I do pole top rescue with my men. I actually have a post at my yard. I've been climbing with my 16-year-old since he was 11. So I'm prepping him to go to line school in a couple years.
That's great.
Yeah. And like I said, I just could not imagine doing anything else while I'm still healthy at this point in my life.
So you have 4 kids?
Yes.
So what are their names? Let's give a shout out to them on the podcast.
James, Nina, Zane, and Quinn.
I'm the mom of 5 with 3 older and 2 younger, and it's such a blessing to be able to be a parent. So that's probably what drives safety for you too as well, right? Being able to come home to them safely every night.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually brought my son. My 16-year-old has been coming here since he was a newborn.
Really?
But this was the first year I actually brought him to the Safety Summit training.
When did your son think of the safety conference?
Yeah, he just really enjoyed everything that they touched on is key to being an apprentice, a lineman. And now he's eager to go to line school in a couple of years for sure.
So how do you feel about him following in your footsteps? I bet that's really exciting.
Oh, I love it. I love it. He's going to learn how to use tools, turn a screwdriver, swing a hammer, dig ditches. And most utility companies offer packages where if you decide to go back to college, they have a reimbursement program. And I said, if you decide you want to go to college after you enter the line program, most companies will pay for it.
Really? That's super cool. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yes, at least at my company, it is a thing.
That's awesome. And James, what kind of projects are you working right now in your area of the country?
Right now, as usual, it's a blue sky trimming. We have to keep the trees away from the power lines. We're in the Connecticut area, so it's like a little forest out there. We have a program called Blue Sky Trimming. That's never ending. And regular reconstruction of pole lines and daily pole shifts is our routine at UI.
Wonderful. And James, is there anything else that you'd like to say on this podcast?
No, I appreciate having the opportunity to share my past, and I look forward to continuing this trade in the future.
Well, we really enjoyed having you on today's podcast. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you next year.
Thank you very much.
Thanks again for listening to this episode of the Line Life podcast. Also, if there's a musical playlist that you listen to in your bucket truck while you're traveling on the road to a storm or relaxing at home that you want to share with our Line Life podcast listeners, please feel free to share it with me on Instagram at Lineman World. Our next playlist was curated by Mike Willman, the official voice of the International Lineman's Rodeo, and a link to it will be available soon on social media and also on our website at tdworld.com. Again, make plans to stop by the T&D World booth at the International Lineman's Expo this October, where we'll be giving away t-shirts and temporary tattoos, as well as copies of the Line Worker Supplement. We'll also be handing out Line Life podcast stickers for our Line Life podcast guests to put on their hard hats when they're working out on the job site. We look forward to celebrating you and your families at the International Lineman's Rodeo Week. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Line Life podcast produced by Endeavor Business Media, a division of Endeavor B2B. Be sure to subscribe or follow the Line Life podcast in your favorite podcasting app so new episodes will be delivered straight to you. For more insights, you can visit our website at tdworld.com/podcasts or linelife.podbean.com. You can also connect with us by following us on Instagram at Lineman World or on Facebook, LinkedIn, or X. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Line Life podcast.